Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into how technology is absolutely revolutionizing elderly care. We're going to unpack this whole topic through a really striking high-contrast black and white aesthetic, which I think perfectly mirrors what we're talking about, that fascinating intersection of cold, hard data and the incredibly complex, nuanced reality of human aging. So let's just ground ourselves in the sheer scale of the situation for a second. Take 11.1%. That represents the projected 65 and over population in Turkey by the year 2025, which is a demographic shift that's pushing the median age up to nearly 35. And, it's not just there. All around the world, populations are aging incredibly rapidly. This reality is literally pushing our traditional care capacities to their absolute limits.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. Demographic transformation and needs. 2. Aging in place and smart homes. 3. Early diagnosis with AI. 4. Social robots and loneliness. 5. Social media and life satisfaction. And finally, 6. The digital divide and ethical concerns.
Section 1. Demographic transformation and needs. To really get why this all matters, we have to start with the emotional reality of aging. In qualitative research focused on rural areas, elderly folks who lack strong social support often describe themselves as a fruitless tree. Wow, that metaphor just hits you right in the chest, doesn't it? It perfectly highlights the devastating emotional impact of loneliness, which a lot of people describe as an even heavier burden than the physical aging process itself.
Section 2. Aging in place and smart homes.
Okay, transitioning over to the tech solutions, there's a huge, absolutely crucial philosophy anchoring everything we're discussing today, aging in place. This is the idea of prioritizing and designing supportive environments that adapt to a person's physical and sensory needs, rather than uprooting them and forcing them to adapt to an institution. The literature is incredibly clear on this. Most folks strongly prefer staying in their own homes, right where their memories and emotional bonds live.
Now, designing that physical environment is step one. As we age, the lens of the eye naturally thickens and actually turns a bit yellowish-brown. Because of this, similar tones start to blur together, and colors like pale blue turn into this washed-out, unstimulating gray. So we make ergonomic tweaks, like adding grab bars, but we pair them with highly specific, high-contrast color choices. Using warm, stimulating reds and yellows directly compensates for that vision loss. It's this beautiful merging of physical safety with visual comfort. But let's take it a step further. When we talk about a truly smart home, we aren't just talking about your everyday voice assistant. We are talking about LSTM, or long short-term memory network sensors. It's like having a digital sixth sense. These systems actually learn an individual's daily routines. If breakfast preparation takes way longer than it did 3 weeks ago, or if there's some unusual wandering around at night, the system instantly flags those subtle anomalies to caregivers way before a crisis even occurs. It's a total game changer.
Section 3. Early diagnosis of NLA.
Zooming out to the macro level, the academic literature shows us that AI is completely flipping the script on geriatric medicine. We are shifting from reactive treatments to proactive interventions, adding an incredible layer of diagnostic precision that honestly was previously unimaginable. The data here is just wild. Machine learning algorithms are hitting massive accuracy rates in identifying chronic conditions right now. We're talking 85% accuracy in grading the severity of knee osteoarthritis from imaging alone, 90% for dementia, and a 91% accuracy rate for detecting cardiovascular risks. This means we can deploy timely, life-changing therapies, like getting a jump start on physical therapy, that can significantly slow down the progression of these diseases.
Section 4. Social robots and loneliness.
But as we know, overall health isn't just physical data, it's deeply emotional. Enter robotic support. Now, while they're absolutely not meant to replace human beings, studies show that social assistive robots like Pero, which is this therapeutic robotic seal, and Lovat are super effective at providing emotional support. In dementia daycare facilities, these robots significantly reduce patient agitation, they boost moods, and they offer structured, really soothing interaction for folks dealing with cognitive decline.
Section 5. Social media and life satisfaction. Speaking of staying connected, what about the digital world for folks still living at home? Well, research reveals a direct, fascinating correlation. Elderly individuals who lack social security, have low income, and do not use social media report significantly lower life satisfaction. But flip that around. Those who are digitally connected and consciously use social media to maintain relationships report feeling much happier and way less isolated.
Section 6. The digital divide and ethical concerns.
Of course, to fully understand this, we have to look objectively at the accessibility and the moral costs of all this tech. The stark reality is we're facing a severe digital divide. Take 40%, for example. That is the critically low technology access rate in certain rural areas right now. High costs and poor infrastructure leave vulnerable populations completely disconnected. If we only deploy AI in wealthy urban centers, we're risking massive systemic inequality in how we age.
And this naturally leads us to a profound ethical roadblock that's heavily debated in the sources: the robotization of love labor. Can technology actually replace human compassion? By outsourcing care to sensors and robots, are we compromising human dignity? Are we just isolating the elderly even more by having machines do the work of families and nurses?
Well, the impartial consensus across the literature is pretty clear. It's all about balance. Technology is best utilized as a tool to relieve caregiver burnout. It's about delegating the heavy lifting, stuff like 24/7 monitoring and fall detection, to machines. Because when you do that, it creates more space and way more energy for caregivers to provide the irreplaceable warmth, conversation, and empathy of real human connection.
So as all these incredibly high-contrast data systems merge with our daily lives, we've got to ask ourselves this final question. How will we balance the cold, binary efficiency of innovation with the profound dignity required for human aging? Tech is a brilliant tool, no doubt, but at the very center of the care ecosystem, there must always be a human being. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll leave you with that thought to ponder.